Joining us in studio this morning, Dr. Jonathan Tripp, and of course from Tripp Family Medicine right here in Twin Falls, located on Fillmore Street. That's on the north end of the city, directly across from the main post office. And you can now drive on that street again. Uh,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
of course, sometimes you told me you sometimes go up to you go up Pole Line Road and head east to go grab lunch. I'm told that when you get up by McAllister's, there's a couple of craters on the road. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
No, there's ponds of water everywhere, so be careful. Even though the road looks clear, you might be cruising along at normal speed and realize all of a sudden you're hitting the city pool that's not the city pool.
yeah, we were just talking off air about people if they did it in moderation. Well, even then, some people probably went a little overboard with because there's snacks in the workplace and there's big meals with family. The recovery following the Christmas holiday is often the New Year's too, I guess, as well as a long one.
Yeah, January 1st is typically the gung ho. I'm ready to get rid of all the bad habits and make major changes in my life. And for some, they make major changes and stick with them right from the get go. But for most of us that try that, we try to do everything better, 100%, and then we burn out within a couple of weeks and give up and fall back to where we were before the holidays. So today we're going to talk about how to bounce back from the holidays or any time really that you've had a lapse in better routines, better eating, and just what to do, how to get started, and not burn out too quickly. And this really requires a feeling of balance that is a struggle for all of us to figure out. And that balance is we need to we need to push hard enough that we progress, but not so hard that we bring about our own demise. Some will start with simple things like I haven't been doing anything. I've been essentially sedentary. You can start with simple things. It can be as simple as walking around the house or moving. I was thinking as I sat in my house talking about writing this script for today, and I thought, it could be as simple for some people as moving their dining room chairs around from, switching sides. I'm not saying go and move the couch or the sofa or try to lift heavy things, but the act of moving things gets you walking around, gets you moving your body in ways that you don't when you're just essentially moving from one room to another. But even moving from one room to another or making the bed for some people is hard. On the other hand, there's very aggressive, extreme exercise programs that for those that have been really working at keeping their condition, that's their incremental next step. Moving furniture around the house is not exactly going to change. In fact, it'll be a big step back for them. So start with something is my first premise, and then add to whatever your foundation is. So we're going to talk about some specifics on that.
I knew a couple of women years ago that they ran a house cleaning service and they were in tip top, I mean,
Shape.
cardiovascular shape
Well,
and muscle tone and everything else.
they apparently were moving pretty rapidly while they did that cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't lackadaisical about their efforts. So it is true. We talked a little bit last week about snow shoveling. I got two of my best workouts 2 days in a row last week because of all the snow shoveling. And I would say that I was really impressed with how well my back responded. I've had some back troubles and worried to death about how that was going to go, and made sure that I got my legs and behind under me. And I tell you what, my thighs were pretty sore, but my back did great because I used most of the time good lifting
You bend at the
technique.
knees, right? In that
Yep.
situation.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
actually crouching down. It's a squat that then as you lift up with the shovel, you're pushing heavy with your thighs, not lifting with your back, and that saved me and made me feel pretty good about getting started on a more aggressive exercise program.
No, this has been complicated for some people because if they want to go outdoors and
Yeah.
get that exercise or go for a walk, it's really difficult to do that right now.
It is. Now we're getting to wet roads. If you're in my neighborhood, there's still lots of snow and slush, so walking there actually is probably more treacherous than the benefit of the exercise. So in the house, whether it's with an exercise machine like a treadmill, elliptical kind of machines, those are great, but it can be just walking around your house. And if you have stairs, add a few stairs to that. I'll tell you what, if you're not used to doing stairs, You do about one or two, three, four sets of stairs, and you'll find out that was a big incremental change. And you can do that not all at one time. You can spread that out throughout the day, and you soon find that instead of two sets of stairs in the morning, now you're doing, five in the morning and five at noon and five in the evening, and now you're up to 15 or 20 sets in a day. Where if you hadn't been doing that, and I said go do 20 sets of stairs, you'd think I tried to kill you. So incremental improvement, but real improvement is what's important.
We've got more to talk about in just a couple of minutes with Dr. Jonathan Tripp from Tripp Family Medicine. This is Better Health with Tripp Family Medicine on KLIX. Bill Colley grabbing telephones and punching a couple of other buttons here, just a couple.
That's right.
It's no worse than an airline cockpit when it comes to that. But we want to point out life's too short not to feel good, and these are areas that really hammer home that notion. And we've got more of that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Dr. Jonathan Tripp joining us in studio this morning on News Radio 1310, KLIX, and newsradio1310.com. Bill Colley with you as well. Of course, the show is called Better Health with Tripp Family Medicine. The telephone number, if you'd like to reach the program, 736-0300, 736-0300. And you had a question you wanted to pose this morning.
Yeah, we've done this now. I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. Every Wednesday morning at 8:30, we do this show on better health. And as I've thought about topics, I really want to focus on some of the parents, the moms, the dads of children. And I would love to have your suggestions, what you want to hear about as far as a topic, things you'd like covered. And the way we could have you do that is calling our phone number at our office or posting on Facebook. That would be a great way. So let me tell you those numbers. Our phone number is area code 208 933 4400, and our Facebook page is Tripp Family Medicine. Website, you can also reach us at trippfamilymedicine.com. But as far as giving us ideas, it'd either be the Facebook page or the phone number would probably be the best way. Um, and I really am interested in what the parents would like to hear about, because I have my ideas, but they're my ideas, and what you want to hear about might be different, and I'd be happy to entertain those topics.
We were talking a little bit about people who you mentioned just people moving does wonders for them, and I referenced a friend yesterday who posted a living room workout, which might take 15 minutes out of your day, and it's just basically it's how you step and you bend at the knees and how you hold your hands, and you see some of these sometimes in these Japanese films where they're exercising like that, and it's just a lot of movement, and but it's worthwhile.
Yeah, and some of these are very programmed, or not programmed, but they take a lot of teaching, like Tai Chi you mentioned off the air. But the truth is if you're doing very routine movements about your day, doing something a little different is hard to come up with because you're not used to it. So often somebody's Facebook posting or a DVD or a video you bought 10 years ago that had to do with exercise, you can do some of that. You don't have to do all of it, and you don't have to keep up with the instructor. But looking online, there's lots of free exercise directions. And my only caution on those is don't push yourself to where you feel like you're at threat, but I would say push a little, because you'll find that you'll get away with that and you'll start to feel better. Excuse me, we've got two great examples of patients that had severe muscle aches. One lady was convinced she had fibromyalgia, and as a physician, there's a lot of things that we can do to improve, but a lot of it depends on if the patient even wants to try. And so this particular lady didn't know if she had that diagnosis, and our original suggestion is let's get you into physical therapy, because physical movement strengthening tends to improve everybody, including fibromyalgia. And so after a month of some directed physical therapy, her return visit was a statement of, I have not felt this good in 3 years. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. Don't give me medication. And so that is true whether you're young or whether you're older. We know with osteoarthritis, hurting knees and elbows and shoulders and all that, that if the patient moves less, they tend to hurt even more. If they actually move the joint that hurts, they tend to feel better and have less pain overall. And so this whole movement and, move it or lose it kind of feeling really is proven out in medical studies as well as just people's own experience.
Talking a little bit about some of these things that you say move, but maybe move a little differently. Some years ago, I heard a radio show where the doctor was advising that if you take the stairs, try to break that routine because he said it's work some other muscles on the stairs, but also in the long run, it'll be good for your head. It might help down the road with stroke and things like that because you're challenging your brain. So I had an outdoor staircase at the time from the deck, and I'm right-handed. I would walk generally forward with my right hand on the rail going down, so I decided to walk sideways going down the left side to break that up until the neighbor said to me, "What are you doing?" And so then I was embarrassed and I stopped doing it.
You just told them I had a stroke and I walk better this way now. Yeah. No, that would get the neighbors going. But no, actually, that is true. Whether we're taking up dance, whether we are doing yoga that most of us have never even tried before. The first time I tried yoga was there's a pretty intense workout system that was one of their days, and I started this out, and I thought this is too easy. This is going to be kind of a waste of my time. But I got about halfway through the routine and I was about ready to die because yoga puts you through some pretty muscle challenging maneuvers. And what I found is it took me many times, not once, to get to where I could do most of those. In fact, some of the positions that they have you hold takes a lot of muscle strength and a lot of flexibility that I never even got to some of the more extreme, I guess you'd say, positions. So those of you that do yoga, my congratulations to you. And it is awesome for balance and flexibility and strength. And it is not impact. It's not threatening to joints. So that's a good choice. A couple other things I thought of for just what can you do around the house? Because a lot of people think, oh, I got to go to the gym. And the gym is a great place, but if you're not at the point where you want to commit to doing that and being, in on the treadmill and doing the weightlifting, some things around the house. We talked about stairs and walking, arm circles. I mean, everybody can wave their arms around, and whether you're hanging over bent while you hang onto the table and just let the arm go around in a circle without much effort, or whether you're standing and raising your arms to the shape of a cross and doing small circles and big circles forward and backwards, you'll find that that really works out your arms and shoulders without having to add any weights to them. But let's say you want to do some weights. You can start with simple things that are already around the house, like soup cans or water bottles. And if you think that those are too light after a little while, advance to, a milk carton full of, a gallon water or milk uh, container full of water. You'll find out that's quite a bit of weight to be lifting with your hands, but it has its own built-in handle. So those are some things you can do just around the house. If you're a runner and you're already running, 2 miles a day or 3 times a week, increase that by quarter-mile increments over the next week to 4 weeks. Take your time, don't push because you don't want an injury. You want to keep progressing rather than push so hard that you get a big setback. So those are some suggestions kind of around the house. But if you want to go outside, we got wintertime activities. If you're not physically able to do things like skiing, whether it's cross country or downhill, you could do snowboarding, snowshoeing. Those are all outdoor things. Ice fishing counts, believe me. Shivering in the cold
Yeah.
burns calories. Um, but if you're not physically able to do those, there are some things you can go to a gym. You don't have to be the biggest weightlifter in the place to do that. You can do small weights. You have uh, machines that help to increase your range of motion without being dangerous to your joints. You have pool access. For sure, we have through our city in the YMCA, there's a pool that you can go and do laps. You can just wade in the water. That movement is what it's about. And with resistance of the water and the lack of gravity, it's a very non threatening exercise and a very thorough exercise. I know there's some other available indoor tools in our area, racquetball courts and tennis courts. So those are some suggestions. And I would tell you look at our city activities. The city always has some type of an activity, parks and recreation, whether it's indoors or outdoors, that you might be able to join in.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was cleaning out my Jeep and I came across, I have these storage bins in the back that are built in. And I was cleaning some stuff out of there and I found it's a little dumbbell. Can't weigh more than a few pounds. It's got like a blue coating on it. It's not mine. Probably somebody left it at my house over the years, and somehow then it ended up getting packed in the Jeep and got stuck in that compartment. But that little dumbbell, just that one little dumbbell, maybe it weighs a few pounds.
Mhm.
That was someone was using that obviously just for that movement. Maybe when they were watching television or something like that.
Yeah, I have lots of stories where people will get a hold of these ankle weights that Velcro around your ankles, and they weigh maybe a pound, two at tops. But using them as part of your daily motion really strengthens your legs. So a small weight goes a long way, whether it's in your hand, on your ankle. Um, but I would really encourage stretching exercises, whether you're following a routine or you're rearranging your cupboards and you have to reach overhead and then you have to squat down below. Those kinds of movements that are not typical of getting out of bed and walking across the room are really going to help to start your motion, and then you can be more aggressive as you go. Um, I got to get into diet a little bit here. This is really important because starting off the year, we often want to see ourselves lose a lot of weight really fast, and the truth is that can happen. But if you have a diet that seems extreme or too good to be true, it probably is, and it can actually be harmful. Give you some examples. One recently told to me is one where you drink water that's had vegetables soaking in it, and it's supposed to get some of the nutrients out of the vegetables, which is possible, but that's all you do, and that lasts for about 2 days of starvation, maybe three, before you find out not only are you in ketosis and burning up fat, muscle, and other important tissues, but you feel lousy and you're a grouch. It's not just about not having sugar. Another similar ones, or not similar, but these are all kind of on the extreme end. There's one that's popular in Hollywood that has a combination of lemon juice, maple syrup, and cayenne pepper that you drink for a week to 2 weeks. And it does clear out your colon, and you do lose weight because the colon contains about 10 pounds of weight. And so you are very happy with the 10 or 15-pound weight loss. But then in about another week to 2 weeks, it's right back. And lo and behold, the only thing you've done is, and by the way, I've tried this. I mean, I've tasted it. It doesn't taste terrible, but the cayenne can be irritating to some people's bowels and create a new problem there. Go ahead, you had a question.
I have a caller actually who may have a question to follow up with all of that. I'm going to call it 8:55, almost 8:55, and you're up next on Better Health with Tripp Family Medicine.
Yeah, this is a really quick one. One of the things I found when I exercise, when I haven't exercised for a while, is that I get some low to mid back pain, and almost every time I've gotten low to mid back pain, when I've stretched my hamstrings, that pain goes away within a very short period of time.
Did we pay you to call?
No.
Okay. This is this is this is one of my favorite topics on low back pain. It wasn't one I considered for this, but hamstrings, I often give this little routine in my office about how where the hamstrings tighten and kind of pull your pelvis down and back, and then your lower back has to tighten up to straighten that out, and it's all about posture, and your muscles are fighting each other. So if you do stretch and loosen those hamstrings, frequently low back pain disappears because they're no longer fighting each other. So that's a great comment and one I can wholeheartedly, endorse.
Got about 90 seconds to go. Anything else we've got to cover quickly today?
Well, darn, I have lots of stuff about the diets. Maybe we're going to have to push this in, but Harvard medical school in their health publications talks about the dubious practice of detox. And I don't want to say all detox is bad because there's some things alternatively in our complementary medicine that really do well. But if you're doing the grapefruit diet, the cabbage soup diet, the lemonade diet, realize you may be shutting down your metabolism and your weight gain will go up faster because your body now thinks it's in starvation mode. So keep that in mind. Your biggest thing is start with something, build on that foundation. It's the move it and lose it in this case. And I want to see people saying, hey, I made some progress. I took your advice and other people's advice, and I did this with moderate effort and moderate diet, and things are getting better because your body wasn't built in a day. Whether it's overweight or not, it won't be perfect in a day, but it's all about progress.
We need to remind people one more time if they'd like to get in touch with your office, how they go about doing that.
Yeah, our phone number is 208 933 4400 208 933 4400. Facebook, Tripp Family Medicine, and our website, trippfamilymedicine.com. Love to hear from you and want to hear from those parents of kids what topics you'd like to hear about. So,
Yeah, the kids especially because they're the ones who manage to pick up most of these things, especially this time of year.
whether it's illness or finding things like my dog who chewed up my razor yesterday. This is an electric razor, so today I'm not shaved if you look at this on our website. So that's, not homework only. The dogs can find other things.
We wanted to mention we've got a short break coming up. We want to thank Dr. Jonathan Tripp for taking some time with us this morning on Better Health with Tripp Family Medicine. Remember, life's too short not to feel good. And coming up in a few minutes, it looks as if they're about ready for Donald Trump to speak at Trump Tower. And going to be a dressing down of the mainstream media today like you may have never heard before. If we have an opportunity, we'll be sharing that with you as we get started in the next hour.